Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Wildman Outdoors. And today we're just in this lovely woodlands. It's a mixture between coniferous and deciduous woods, and we're going to be focusing on fire lighting and different methods and materials that you can use to start a fire. So first of all, I'd just like to show you this tree. It's a birch tree, and you can use the bark off this tree to create a fire, which I'll show you in the video. The material that I'm going to be using today isn't off this specific tree. It was actually off a fallen birch tree, so I wouldn't be taking it off a live tree like this one. I'd only be taking the bark from a dead tree. And another method that I'm going to be going over today is the use of fatwood. So that's me found a little bit where I'm going to set up a camp and make a campfire and do some catapult practice. But first of all, before I unpack all my kit, I thought I'd just run through the setup of my rucksack and show you exactly how I carry everything and how I use the rucksack to the full advantage. So this is the LK35 rucksack, and it's a great rucksack in my opinion. You can do a lot of things with it, and one of the great features about this rucksack is the metal frame that the rucksack actually secures onto. And originally this was a military rucksack, and the metal frame is used for a lot of different things, such as carrying firewood and ammunition, fuel cans. So what I've actually done with it is, in between the rucksack and the metal frame, that's where I put my saw. As you can see right there, just slides straight in. It's safe, it doesn't hit your back or anything. Round the side here we have my slingshot, which is attached to the metal frame, my M60 Slovakian Army water bottle, which is also secured to the side of the frame, and round the other side I've got my bag of ball bearings for the slingshot, the catapult, and also a tinder pouch which is secured to the side of the frame, along with my carving knife. So there's a lot of things going on the outside of this rucksack. However, if you've got a metal frame, you may as well use it, and it frees up a lot of space inside the rucksack itself. So on top of the rucksack here we have these clips, which if you unclip these, it allows access to my tarpaulin, which I keep on the top. That's my tarpaulin, that just sits on the lid of the rucksack. There's two clips here which secure the lid on, which I've undone already, and this gives me access into the rucksack. From here we have quite a strange looking clip, but it's really useful and a really simple design. So to release this, you push down like that and it releases the cord, allowing the rucksack to open. I've got my hammer with me today because I'm going to be setting up some targets for shooting. And in here I've got all my items that I might need. So we'll get set up camp. We'll put my tarpaulin up. First of all, just came across this tree. It's actually fallen down just over there. It's snapped away from the roots and it's just completely lying down on the floor. This part, however, this part leading up here, is raised off the ground, and we call this dead standing wood because it's dead and it's standing, it's not lying on the floor. So we're going to cut a section out of this, a nice dry part, or at least as dry as we can get, and we're going to cut it down into little logs, split it down and get the nice dry wood inside it to make some feather sticks, and also use some of the bigger parts for putting on the fire once it's established. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut a chunk out of this and we'll get started. So that's me collected some firewood. I've got a selection of small sticks, small thin sticks, some thinner sticks than that, which I'll show you. I'll show you all this in a little second. We've got big logs, and we've got some longer kind of maybe 1 to 2 inch thick sticks as well. So I'll show you that just now. So we've collected my firewood, and lots of different types of firewood. So I'll give you an example here. Some of this sort of kind of loose, wiry, really thin sticks. That'll be good for getting the fire going initially, as well as feather sticks, which we'll look into in a wee second. We've also got some sticks like that, thin again, quite long, and even thinner sticks here. And then we've got bigger logs here. Got lots of these different big logs here that we can split into quarters and make feather sticks. We can also set these on top, or half them, or even set them on whole, just to keep the fire going and give it a nice good flame. So we'll split some of these up, make some fire sticks, which I'll show you on this log here, and then we'll get a fire going. So we're going to be quartering this log here. It's maybe about 2 inch thick, and we're going to split it and then split it again into 4 sections. I'm going to do this with the new knife that I got at Anglo Arms, 7 inch paracord knife. Held up pretty well in the review, so we're going to do it again, and we're going to use this stick to batten it down with. Quite a serious knot there. So as you can see, we've hit a knot in this bloody big knot. So we'll just get our knife out of there. That's not going to happen. Should have checked all this before I started, but oh well, these things happen. So in the second attempt we managed to just bypass the knot there, so that's quite good. That one's a really good stick for feathering with. So there's 2 there, we'll sit them down on a dry piece of ground and we'll get this other part done. So there's a small knot there, we'll try and bypass that at the start. There we go. That's them 2 done. To make these fire sticks, just going to take the stick like that. Normally I would work in this sort of position because it's safer. The knife's away from your legs, you're not going to have any accidents. However, this way, my legs, you might not be able to see it in the camera, but my legs are quite far away from the stick, so it should be fine. So we'll start at the bottom, we'll have the knife at a slight angle, depending on what grind you've got in your knife, and we'll just start to create little curls. And what I do is, the more you do this, the flatter this edge will be. So then you just turn the stick to the side ever so slightly. Turn the stick to the side ever so slightly and just start again until that bit goes flat, and then you move on to the other part. Next part, do that for a bit. It's important to have a really sharp knife when you're doing this. This knife could be sharper, but it does the job. And what you can do is when you're feathering the sticks, you can have the knife at a slight angle like that to make a slightly different curl. You can have the knife like that to make it go the opposite way. And it just gives it more of a denser curl. Or you can just do it straight down like that. Notice this wood isn't the best for feathering. You can feather with any wood, but some woods are better than others. But this should do the job. It's creating nice thin curls, and that's what you want really. Sometimes you could dig too far in and you have big chunky curls which are harder to catch a light. These ones are nice. These ones are nice and thin. There we go. So, and that's good enough just now. We're not going to light a fire just using feather sticks. If you wanted to do that, you'd need a lot more curls. They would need to be right up there, big curls, thin ones, thick ones. But this is just to get the fire going initially, so that should be fine. We'll move on to the other ones as well. So this one here. Anyway, as I said, this is a really pathetic attempt at feathering sticks today, all because of how unsharp my knives are. But anyway, we shouldn't really need too much feathers on this, as this isn't going to be our primary ignition source. I'm going to be using Fatwood in one example, and I'm going to be using birch bark in another example. So we'll put these to the side, we'll get the area prepped for lighting a fire, and we'll go straight into that and I'll show you. So first of all, when making a fire, I'm going to be making it here. And what we do is, there's a lot of leaves round about this area that are very, very dry and flammable. Or, I say very dry, they're dry. But they are flammable. So what we'll do is we'll need to scrape all this away, just to be safe. Scrape as much away as we can and get down to some bare air. Could get in even more just using a stick, just to kind of cultivate the area, just loosen it all up, loosen up all the soil, getting that damp soil through, just to stop any fires catching, and maybe the fire going elsewhere, somewhere where we don't want it to go. So anyway, that's us down to bare earth there, and what we're going to do is make a platform with some logs, just to keep the fire off of the damp ground. It sort of creates an airflow as well, lets oxygen up into the fire. So we'll do that just now. So as you saw there, I've got my platform set out, and it just gives me an area to start a fire, keeping the actual fire off of the damp ground and onto some semi-dry wood. So we'll go ahead and get with tinder. So first of all, I'll show you the Fatwood method. So that there is a piece of Fatwood, and that was got from a rotten tree. And if you've came across a rotten tree before, you know that if you go to pick it up, it will all fall apart and just disintegrate in your hands, and you should be left with a kind of solid part in the middle, and that part is Fatwood. And this is infused with resin through the tree, and it makes it stronger and more stable when it comes to rotting and things. So what we'd do is we would get a knife, and just so you would get your knife, and you would get the back of your knife, the spine, and you would just scrape the Fatwood. I'll do a close-up of this as well so that you can see what I mean. So just there, you can see that there's a little fine pile of dust. Of course, if you wanted to create a fire with Fatwood, the pile would need to be a lot bigger than this. This is just a demonstration, but that just shows you what I'm working with. And it was just the dustings off of the Fatwood using the back of my knife. So what we would then do is get my ferro rod, just here. Situate the ferro rod just on the piece of wood there, using the back of your knife, force it down and create a spark. So a little bit started to go there. I'll bring the camera over. So as I said, the pile was really small, but I don't know if you got it there, but there was a little tiny flame. And of course, if there was a bigger pile, then the flame would be bigger. You can see that's the flame starting out. I hope you can see the flame. It's just went out. So there wasn't enough dust there to create a big flame, but that gives you an example of how flammable fatwood can be, and it will still smoulder away, as you can see. So that's a really good method of starting a fire. However, today I'm going to focus my attention on birch bark, and that's how we're going to properly light this fire today. So we'll just put that out here. And this here is birch bark. And what you would do is you would get your knife and you would just scrape the bark, just nice and gentle. It's good if you've got a flat surface where you can work on. It helps a lot. So that's me scraped a little pile of birch bark dust there. I've broken up some more and sat it to the side. I've also got some birch bark there just to place on top once there's a flame. And I'll use my ferro rod just now to create that flame. There we go. So as I says, the ferro sticks wasn't the best. However, it does the job because we have a main ignition source, which is a birch bark. So there you go. So that's how you light a fire with birch bark and fatwood, but predominantly birch bark in that case. So we're going to get this fire really going now with some of the fuels that we've got, and we're going to get some coffee on and maybe cook some food as well. We're going to get some bigger logs on this just now, and then we'll start cooking some food and get some coffee on as well. So I've put some bigger logs on the fire, and while I wait for that to heat up and burn through a little bit, just thought I'd run through my new cook set that I got. Got this on Amazon, I think it was. I forget the company. But it obviously comes from China because the comes in a nice little bag, and there's a lot of kind of Chinese symbols along there. I don't know what they mean. It says solar on it for a little campsite. It's a pretty cool wee bag. And if we open up this, in here we've got this cook set here. And it comes with 2 cups, but today I've only brought out 1 because I'm just myself. So there's 1 cup there for my coffee. Set that down there. You've got this little pan, kind of folds out, and you've got a little handle to put it on the fire with. So you've got one of those. You've got a bigger one, same kind of design, but it's a lot bigger. And you've got a little frying pan version. So that's what I'm going to cook my sausages in. And you've also got some lids here as well. Got 2 lids the same size, and we've got a lid that's just slightly bigger, and that will make sure everything's all nice and kept hot while it's cooking. So that's my cook set that I've got, and I'm going to be making some coffee, so I'll need some water. Now this is a really interesting piece of kit that I've got. I ordered this online with a few other things, and unfortunately the whole package, the whole order got lost in transit, and after a couple of days back and forth with the company trying to find out what's happened, they refunded me all my money and also gave me the water bottle for free, because the rest of the things that I ordered, unfortunately that was the last one, so they didn't have them to give me, so they gave me this for free, and they also refunded my money, which was absolutely great. This is a Slovakian M60 water bottle, and I've tied a little bit of paracord there, just as a loop, and what that does is that secures onto a clip on my metal frame of my rucksack, and then there's a bottom clip that clips onto there, and that secures it onto the side of my pack. So that's quite a great bit of kit that I've got. I love the design. It's got this sort of felt design on the outside, and with some sort of leather structure on the outer bit there. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll set up my fire. My fire looks as though it's good to go. I'll just rummage a few things around, and then you'll see me cooking. Got these gloves here that I use around the campfire. They're firefighter gloves. They're made out of some proper heavy duty leather, and these are mostly used for picking up hot pans or picking up sticks that are burnt or glowing red and things like that, just to resituate them. Yeah, so they're really good for keeping your hands protected around the campfire. It's always good to have a set of gloves like these. They don't have to be firefighter gloves, they can be any sort of heat resistant gloves that'll persevere with a lot of heat and a lot of temperatures. So anyway, that's me got my sausages on, and I'm going to let them cook for a little while. We'll have them, and then we'll make some coffee. There we go. So I've cut open all the sausages, and they seem pretty cooked inside. They're really warm inside. So I'm just going to take them off the fire. Place them to the side there. I'm just going to add some more sticks just to get this fire back up and running again. I'm going to enjoy my food. and a little ladybug. So there we go. So I've went through a few methods today on how to start a fire. A couple of different materials you can use, and I hope you've learnt something from it today. It takes a while to perfect it. I'm certainly still learning, that's for sure. And one thing you should take away from this today is always keep your knife sharp, because feathering sticks can be quite tricky with a blunt knife. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next video. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.